Everybody, and welcome to Women's Spirit Festival and welcome to the Women's Spirit Show. I am so happy to be here with my special guest, Dr. Sherry Shoemaker. Sherry, thank you so much for being here. Welcome to the Women's Spirit Show.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. I am so proud and honored to be here. This
It's
is
it's incredible to have you. Women's Spirit Festival is such a special event. What's your favorite thing about this event so far?
the extraordinary energy that I feel from all of the speakers. They are so committed, so authentic. To me, it's like a glow. It's like a light that comes up in the world when I
It
see
truly,
that happen.
yeah. And we need it in our world right now, right? It's such an important thing.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
everybody, let me introduce my special guest to you all. Say hello in the comments, everyone. And if you're watching live, put live. If you're watching the replay, write the word replay because Dr. Sherry Shoemaker is a very special guest. Through her own daughter's death, plus 40 years of medical expertise, Dr. Sherry discovered the revolutionary concept of happy grief. Happy grief. Somebody write that in the comments, showing how loss and joy can both coexist. So happy grief is such an incredible concept. We want to hear more about it. And she now guides others to transform their grief journey from darkness to life. And that's what's needed, a life of renewed purpose and unexpected happiness. Something that's also really cool about this woman is she got her pilot's license in the 80s when women were not doing this thing. So she has an extensive background and has dealt with one of the biggest losses that any woman can ever deal with. So Sherry, thank you so much for being here and welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Elizabeth. This is a great opportunity. I am so happy to be able to talk to your audience
Yeah.
and to
Oh,
you. You
thank
are
you.
special
And I
too.
love having you. It's a great space. Now you have a talk inside the festival. We'll talk about that in a moment, but
Yeah.
let's just dive right into happy grief. What
Okay.
does this mean and how is it possible for somebody who's dealing with grief? And then we'll talk a little bit more about your background and everything. So happy grief, take us there.
Okay. Grief is a word that normally denotes sadness, depression, um, bleakness, emptiness, but it doesn't have to. And even Dr. Kubler-Ross wrote a book in 1969 and about death and dying, and she defined the grieving process. And even within that process, it gets to acceptance. And what I believe and what I have found is we go beyond acceptance because no matter what the loss is, it's not just, for me, that really brought this to a forefront was my daughter's death. But other people suffer losses all the time. Loss of a job, a divorce, loss of a pet. There's many kinds of losses, a debilitating illness, a car accident, things like that, which I've seen over many years. And to be able to know that we are created for joy. We are created to be happy. And to get to that point and use this opportunity of grief to be joyous and
Yeah.
see the world through new lenses and see ourselves through new lenses.
This
That's
is beautiful. Like this is a teaching that everybody needs. Can somebody write that in the chat for me so we have it on record? We are created for joy. I love that you said that because that's something to remember even when we're moving through grief. And how many of you here have moved through some big grief in the past, well, in your life or even in the past few years? Put grief in the comments down below. And Sherry, you've moved through one of the biggest griefs that anybody can experience. Can you tell us a little bit about it? I know you talk about it fully in your talk, but let everybody know what happened and how you moved through it.
well, It was totally unexpected. My daughter was 35. She had gotten the job that she loved. She had just, she was working with people that really cared about her. And I got a call that she didn't come to work. So the short version is we called the police for a wellness check. I don't live near her. I'm about 2 hours away. Her brother's 2 hours away. And the police went to do a wellness check, and they called us about 2 hours later. They called me about 2 hours later and said that they found her dead in her bed. And there was no outward sign of why that would have occurred. So the coroner got involved, and in the meantime, we're all just going, this can't be real.
Yeah.
How did this happen? So
For like a young, healthy woman to just pass in her sleep. What a shock to you and your family. I
it,
mean, just,
yes, yes. And yet my nurse brain is going, oh yes, I have seen this happen before. So I know that it's possible, but I did not think it was possible for me. It's so different when you see it with people you don't know.
right?
In
You're in the medical
situations,
profession for decades, being
yes,
with people who were grieving and experiencing loss, but here it was right inside, like very close to home.
yes,
Yeah.
in this manner, yes, it was. So it was very difficult
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
them.
And
And
you weren't doing grief work at that point. Like you moving through this is what
it
caused your
can,
heart to say, I need to help other women through it. Tell us
yes.
about that.
Well, it's like, it's almost like I had to make the decision. I had to choose. Am I going to live or die? Am I going to, and dying can be in many forms, you know? I have seen people, I've seen babies who don't get love who don't get touched.
Yeah.
You know, the parents just put them in the bassinet and don't touch them. And they start dying
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
lack of feelings, from
Yeah.
lack of touch. And so I knew I had to choose, am I going to live or am I going to die? Am I going to be living dead or worse? So I made the choice to live and truly live and fully live. And my road to that was using everything that I've known and learned. And I did get some help. I did talk to a friend of mine who's a medical professional also in Eastern medicine and psychology. And we spent a couple months going through things, but it was still up to me to take the action and have the new thoughts and have the new feelings. And what I realized was that I could help stimulate and activate others
Mm.
because
You
we
were
cannot,
initiated with a huge loss, a big grief, and like absolute heartbreak. So that makes you perfectly positioned to be able to hold that space for others.
yes.
Yeah. So tell us more about the work that you do with people. Is it any grief that anybody's suffered from, or do you particularly help like women who've lost adult children? Do you find them more drawn to you?
Um, it's not, it's, no, I don't. I don't find them more drawn. Because grief isn't the circumstances necessarily, it is how the person perceives the circumstances. So you could have a loss of, um, something that I might find minor. Maybe they lost their job, it was downsized.
Yeah.
And you go, well, go get another one. But to them, it was, that was their lifeline. That was how they saw themselves. That was, you know, how they identified themselves.
Right.
That is a huge loss. Even if I don't have that attitude, or I didn't think that was the worst thing, I don't look at people that way. I go, how do you feel about it? What are you getting? Tell me about what's going on with you. Because it doesn't matter how I perceive it.
Right.
And,
Oh, I
and
love that. Because our world doesn't make space for all this spectrum of grief and all like what people are going through, where it's like tied in a bow, it's not that big of a deal. Go deal with it on your own. And you're saying, whatever you've experienced, it's personal.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. We need this. People have suffered so much like in their lives, so much over the past few years. There's so much going on. And how many years have you now been switched into this grief work?
It's just been in the last 18 months. My daughter died 18 months ago. So, but yet I have my experience now, my hospital experience in the emergency room and trauma and sometimes in the ICU. So it's all been with people, but it's been in mostly families of different ages. I mean, it, I have so many stories that you just go, God, it is. I couldn't go home and tell my family my stories because they didn't believe me.
Yeah.
They go, no, that doesn't happen. I
Yeah.
go, I was just there.
Yeah. In the medical profession for decades, you would have seen and heard everything. And it's just, yeah.
And,
I'm
and,
glad
and
you're doing the work that you're doing now because people need this kind of support. You did a talk as part of Women's Spirit Festival. Can you tell us about that talk and what people, because everybody, as we're sitting here just diving in deep,
yeah.
you can go and watch this talk. So Sherry, tell everybody about the talk.
Well, the talk is named Grief to Grace
Mm,
and dispelling the myth of loss. And that means the myth of loss as sadness and hopelessness.
yeah, yeah.
And during my talk, I start out asking people, well, what kind of losses have you had? And how did you feel about them?
Mhm.
And about the bleakness and all that. And I go into my own story. And then I talk about looking at grief as an opportunity. And
Mm.
and I talk about transformation and really defining grief. What is that? Is it just sadness? No, it's not. It's many things, and it affects your whole life and the people around you. So it's like that little pebble in the stream or whatever, in the lake where it just ripples out. So, and I talk about tools that you can use on your own, but how important it is to get support for a lot of tools that are available. In the last few years, especially since COVID, I've heard a lot about, breath work has come to the forefront, mindset change, mindfulness, being the present, all of those. But people don't know how to use them
They can learn the tool, but how do we really use it in our day-to-day life?
because they stop. And you have to be consistent and you have to continue because you go, oh, yeah, well, I sat quietly for 5 minutes and I made my grocery list. Well, that's not exactly enough time for you to get the full benefit of that type of tool.
Yeah.
So, or you could dance. There are different types of meditations, and moving as well as stationary and all that. And what I loved about my Eastern education as an acupuncturist was that I learned Qigong and I learned about Tai Chi and I learned about the mind, body, spirit connection, which is not part of Western medicine.
And it's so essential.
And it is. So that's part of what I try to bring forth in how I talk.
Beautiful. Oh, I'm so glad that you weave that in. The Eastern traditions are important to me. I learned martial arts as a teenager and it woke me up in a lot of ways, and then learned Qigong and Tai Chi as well. And so those are special to my heart. So I'm glad to know that we share those loves and passions, and the balance of those brings something so good. I also want to highlight for our audience something that you said. Did y'all hear this? Dr. Sherry said consistency. And that's a theme with a lot of our speakers, and any of the things that they're teaching is that consistency is a really important piece. And then another one is support. Can you talk about what a difference it can make to people to get support if they're stuck in grief or they're experiencing grief?
Well, first of all, it helps you acknowledge the fact that this is happening. So many of us are taught not to experience, not to have the emotions come forward because it's not comfortable. The people around you don't like it because it changes you.
Mhm.
They don't know how to respond to it. And they don't want to think about their own feelings. So it's really important to find someone that you trust and that can be understanding and compassionate and allow you not to wallow, but to find ways to move forward if that's what you want. And maybe to help identify what do you want. Because when things start coming up, you don't know what you want. But you know you don't want to be there, but you don't know where you want to be. So having somebody who knows how to support you is really key, I think.
I agree. Yeah, support is everything. As you were speaking, I was thinking about also the timeline of grief. Like some people think, oh, I should get over this sooner. Or some people's families tell them like you should be feeling a certain way by a certain time frame. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yes, even in Dr. Kubler-Ross's book, she talks about, in her first book anyway, she talks about a timeline and she talks about a year. So the latest information that I've read is it's between a year and 2 years, and that's a healthy grieving time. That is what the experts have decided is a healthy grieving time.
Yeah.
Now it can be shorter, but when it starts to get longer, then you're getting into a different type of grief, which is not a healthy grief
Yeah.
because you are stuck. You're not living.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Hmm.
that brings, Rumi wrote a poem that I just love. And the beginning lines of it are, I sometimes forget that I was created for joy. My mind is too busy and my heart is too heavy to remember that I was created, I was called to dance, the sacred dance of life. And so many of us have forgotten. So, that's getting back to support, having healthy support. Because you can't always go to your family. You can't always go your friends. They're just going to go, oh, just come on out with us.
Yeah.
You'll get over it. We're going to have a few drinks. We'll just go dancing, which would help. Hey, dancing helps. But, um, it's just, so the timeline, getting back to your original question, the timeline is around a year. The thing is, grief is not very tidy.
Not,
So,
it's not linear.
so you can go And in a couple months, maybe you're going, oh, I got this, I'm okay. And then something triggers you, something happens, you see something that reminds you of something, and then you go back. And then you're in depression or you're in anger. Anger is hard to get out of, denial. I think of people who have had strokes or who have had amputations or things. They have trouble getting out of denial.
Yeah.
From my experience, from what I've seen.
Yeah.
And that's all part of it. And they get support because theirs is so obvious.
And some people's grief is obvious and some isn't, and you've seen so much. I imagine that you have a lot of tools to help everybody through, like whatever stage they're at. Not that it's linear, but wherever they are,
Yes.
you've got all the tools to help them through when you work with them. So how can people find more of you? How can they connect with you? Maybe a resource that you have for everyone?
Well, I have a gift that I talk about in my talk, and it's called Ease from Grief. And if you put ease in the comments, I'll get it to you. Or you can go to easefromgrief.com and get it.
Oh, that's perfect. Easefromgrief.com, or just put ease in the comments, everyone. And how many of you have experienced some kind of loss, or you feel like you're in the grieving process right now? Type it in the comments if you're willing to share. This is a safe space. You can just type loss in the comments, or you can share what you've been going through, because Sherry will come back here and check in on all of your comments, check in on all of you. And if you type the word ease in the comments, she'll make sure that you get that resource, or easefromgrief.com. Thank you, Sherry, for giving that to everybody. It's a really special resource. And everyone, you know what to do. You're here in Women's Spirit Festival. So just go to that little magnifying glass search tool at the top of the event. It's up there somewhere. And search Dr. Sherry Shoemaker, and you will find her video. And you'll find everything in this group that she's been up to, and you can connect with her, follow her, send her a friend request. You can message her directly. That's what's really special about Women's Spirit Festival, is that you can be in direct communication with our speakers. So make sure you do that too, everyone. And Sherry, what would you say to everybody as we start to wrap up? Like, what do you want everybody here in this group to know? Like, this is primarily women, mostly in the second half of their lives. What do you want everybody to know?
It's not over till it's over. So make the most of it.
Beautiful. I
Happy.
agree. Make the most of it. I feel like we're entering potentially the best time of our lives. And
Yes.
I say that from coming through lots of my own journey, lots of my own grief as well. So yeah, I really appreciate everything that you teach, and the energy that you bring, and the expertise that you bring with your background. Like, this group is blessed to have you. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Hmm.
I appreciate you too for creating this.
Yeah, you're welcome. I created it because we need it. So thank you for that. And everybody, thank you for watching. Put a thank you in the comments down below for Sherry. And remember, what was the word one more time that they put in the comments?
Ease.
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 Ease. Easefromgrief.com. Make sure that you connect with Dr. Sherry. And again, Sherry, thank you. And again, everybody, thank you for watching another episode of the Women's Spirit Show. We're having so much fun inside of the Women's Spirit Festival. So I hope you're all enjoying it. Put some comments here, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye, everybody.
Okay. Bye.